Welcome back. Yeah, you're right. Spot crawl session. That's what's up. That's what I'm doing this morning. As my search bait, yeah, you're right. That's a speed worm by Zoom, June bug, 3/0 offset worm hook. All right, let's go. Ambush points. Ambush points and ambush spots and ambush, just ambush, ambush, ambush. Who's the ambusher? Me or them? Perhaps both of us. This is what we're hunting with. Let's go. If you look straight across from me, what an angle from where I'm standing, right? You see the points of cut grass coming out? That's what we would call an ambush point, but really all along that line is the ambush point, the ambush areas. The bass could come out from anywhere along these rocks. That's what I'm up to today. Just let it sit. Because it's weightless, you need to give it a second to sink and let everything settle, because it just plopped on the water's surface. I'm gonna fish it slow too. Oh, what was that? Something came up to the surface there and was doing S's at us. We got a loose drone mower over here to the left, coming ever closer. I'm just pop, pop, let it sit. Want to be more subtle? Pop. Don't even have to be that crazy with the jerk. Just bam, and then it comes up. That's subtle right there. Just bam, nice and soft. Gotta have a soft touch. Depends on how much coffee you've had in the morning, I guess. And we've had quite a bit. Wow, just one cup really. So yeah, doing a spot crawl right now is more like, what does it look like here? What's it gonna look like down there? That's why we gotta do the spot crawl. It's like monsoon season, right? Almost every day for over a month, a little bit or a lot of rain, thunderstorms, stuff like that. We had just the minus amount, just a small amount yesterday, but yesterday was an errand day. For me, it was busy, busy, busy. Past 2 days, actually, errands. Busy, 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 dealing with stuff. Today's no different. They got some rain on the forecast. It may or may not happen, but as you can see, this water is discombobulated. It's dirty from pumping, because this is a pumping canal. This is a pumping station here, though kind of a sub-pumping station. It draws water from outside. I mean, blah, 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 blah. Let's start over. Should have had 2 cups of coffee this morning. So, it sucks water out from underneath, from the underground system, because that's just what you have to do to make it optimal, to make it all work, right? Pull the water out from the rain gutters, out into here, and then this gets pulled out into the ICW. Okay, this is just the starting point, and I'm beginning to spend less and less time every time I come here to start. I think there's going to be better spots down the way, slightly different conditions. Come on, let's go keep hunting the bush. Might use that as a search bait. until I decide to make that switch to a smaller bait. We'll keep with the June bug speed worm. As you can see, this one is not the what do you call it, the super vibe or whatever, or anyway, this is not the hook tail. This is the flat tail, the paddle tail. This is all ambush territory, going out to the point there, then the next point, and back behind it. First, I'm going to rake across slowly in front of those 2 points, adjusting the rod to bring the bait along this crescent. Last time I did this particular spot in the same method, or extremely similar, right? I saw activity and then I got it. I don't see anything going on right now. It was around the same time of the morning too, and it's not extremely early. Chatterbell over there. Chatterbell is just chattering away. I don't know if that bird's name is Chatterbell. Could be Henry for all I know. Likely to be Bob. It's very likely that's Bob over there. Chattering Bob. I'm doing this whole line right now without actually reeling up, developing the slack line to a bit of an extreme. It is a method to fishing weightless, the slack line. Oh, it's your fault, Chatterbell. I got preoccupied and I didn't see Mr. Turtle sneak up on us. What do you want to name the turtle? How about Greta? Greta Turtlebird. Okay, I did that corner. Now let's go over here and do the other corner. This is the Four Corner Bridge. It's actually the new back gate. It's just not open yet. Does that mean it's 8 o'clock? Time is it? Time ticks when it's hot. It's 8 o'clock. Takes longer for the sun to go down, but my goodness, does it get hot and the minutes just melt. They melt away. Sometimes it go fast. Other times they get stuck. They melt and they get stuck. They get sticky. Sticky minutes. Flowing slow like molasses in winter. I mean, you're just sitting there sweating away. Yeah. It's 8 o'clock and it's hot. It's 8 o'clock and it's already hot. So the other day I was out here, the back gate, which is just ahead of us, closed really early. I actually got out here a lot earlier last time. I've only been awake since like 5:30 and I had stuff to do this morning, like every morning. Make coffee, do some baking, get the dogs out, come back, a little more coffee, finish the baking, shut it all down and get out here, right? So yeah, the back gate closed really early. That was on a Friday, right before something, so I guess security kicked in, you know, a different level. And now it's still open. It's 8 o'clock and there's still people coming and going across the bridge. Want to go over there without the traffic. That's 2 down. Now we got 2 more of the 4 corners. 4 corner spot crawl. I want to call it a bushwalk. I just don't feel like I'm walking through the bush. But let's walk this bait through the bush. Bushwalking baits in Chatterbell. Are you following us? Now you're over on this side of the bridge. Chatterbell. Again, it's probably Bob. Bob. Give it a rest, Bob. Go home to Connie. Bushwalking the baits. Yeah, you're right. So there's just not much going on. I want to go to the, I want to switch this to a perch thing because that's what's up. Doing a spot crawl, bushwalk, bush hunt, looking at ambush points. It's the first thing on the spot, I was about to say the spot call session. This spot crawl session. Looking for bass. Yeah. Maybe it works, right? Maybe I get a bass from one of these ambush points. Oh, I'm watching my line when I'm doing this, by the way, because like I said before, I'm not reeling up. I'm almost vertical, and I'm just I start with a semi-tight line and just start working through the slack line until there's too much. It's a little unwieldy. And since I'm doing this, because I'm fishing a slack line and I'm giving the bait ample time to sink, I need to watch the line, not space out, staring off somewhere else, inventing postcards in my mind because I stared at it for so long, and I'm just feeling. I'm not going to feel the bite, right? Because I'm fishing a slack line and I'm letting this drop slow. Fish is probably going to get it on the drop, and I'm not going to feel anything, but I will see something. So I can't space out. Got to focus. I can almost just lift this bait up and let it drop right in the same place. I can keep it, I can slow this down. Oh, what was that? I don't see the line moving, but I felt something very faint. I had to look behind me to make sure it wasn't Ray tapping my rod. Alright, so I'm going to switch positions because I have a bit of floating hyacinth. I don't want to, I could try to punch through or get really tight up against it, but I'm going to have to bring the bait out and over. I'm not going to, the bait may not go through. I may get caught on something, so we're going to go around it. It's just more real estate. I had to bring the bait up and clean it because it was I was starting to feel it like it was weighted. It had too much snodgrass on it. So we're going to go right up against the grass line, draw it away down this the back line of this point, we'll say. Sure is looking like it's going to be a hot morning here at Four Corners. Bob is now up on the fence about to commit federal trespass without getting charged. Bob can do that sort of thing. There it goes. There he goes. Bob has crossed the line and all happier for it. Probably a lot of food over there. Did you hear that? I thought we'd lost Bob for good. I thought maybe he went home to Connie. Maybe he did go home to Connie, but the house isn't far away and he's on the porch. He just opened a cold one or taking his boots off or something. Or maybe this is shift change. Because, damn it, here comes Fred. I think that actually might be Fred Jr. But he's coming this way. I'm not fishing under a cork yet. So if I was, he'd be turning about now, heading straight for us. I don't know why, but they love corks. If I did not zoom in, and you can't see Fred Jr., you don't know what I'm talking about. Aquatic Godzilla. That's what I'm talking about. Do believe that concludes our time here at Four Corners. Back on the Jungle Cruiser. We're going to continue this bush walk, bush hunt, bush ride, ambush session for just a little longer, and then we're going to hit a fork in the road and switch. Oh! I was trying to sneak up to this conspiracy bridge here because there was a white bird on the conspiracy bridge. White bird said, F no, go away. I kept coming, and the white bird said, F it, I'm going. And he went conspiracy bridge. Shall we fish the conspiracy bridge? I think we're going to have to call Bob before we do this. Call Bob and ask for some backup, because it's pretty dangerous to fish the conspiracy bridge. You never know when the conspiracy is going to show up. Luckily, Bob left a phone for us. Bob? Bob, I need some help out here, Bob. Did Bob reply with a drill bit? A rusty drill bit? I doubt it. In all honesty, I'm not really in the mood for dealing with the conspiracy. It is a good bridge to fish off sometimes, but mostly for sac-a-lait. The things you'll do for sac-a-lait, but not for bass, right? I don't know. Just not in the mood. So I wanted to look. Looks nice. I love fishing this area that I'm in, where the bridge is, and right here. It's not been easy from the bank for a while, unless you want to get on the bridge. But yeah, there's that sign. This is really good when it's cleaner. That's not too bad right now. I could probably catch, but my way of attacking this, what I love to do is come down here, paddle down here on the yak. And because it's so hot, I'm not going to get in the yak an hour after sunrise. It's after 8 now. So I'm going to do this soon in the future, in the near future. Like get in the yak while it's still dark, like around pre-dawn, and come down here. That's what I want to do. Really, I'm just killing time with the back gate shut. All right, hydration time and Bob talk. The Bob stuff I'm doing today, I may continue, I may not, but anyway, the Bob stuff isn't really made up. I'm improvising, using Bob as the base. We're talking J.R. Bob Dobbs. Something I grew up with because I'm from Dallas. It's where, you know, the Metroplex, North Texas. That is kind of where that came from. But you could also say SF. The guys who started it are Texans, but they technically came up with the idea when they were hanging out in SF with Fireside Theater. So it's like kind of like Hometown Companion, you know, Garrison Keillor. I grew up listening to that too. Radio theatrics, you know, radio shows. So J.R. Bob Dobbs, and then his wife is Connie. The radio stuff is the Church of the Subgenius Radio Hour of Slack, and that aired every Sunday on KNON in Dallas from the 80s to, I think they're still doing it. Reverend Ivan Stang hosted, kind of like if you remember the Dr. Demento show, right? I'm telling you about culture because that's roots. Can't lose it. A lot of it's being lost. People don't even know. So it got syndicated and it got super popular. The J.R. Bob Dobbs narrative and all that, Connie and the conspiracy. So Bob is the positive, the conspiracy is the negative in the story, right? Like the government. A lot of the shows and material produced by other subgeniuses, including myself actually, is mostly improv, some of it not. A lot of the stuff on the radio shows, Ivan Stang and Buck Naked, Reverend Buck Naked, Reverend Ivan Stang, a lot of the material they created was on tape. It was pretty much tape art. Lots of tape machines, reel-to-reel, cassette. So they were spending a lot of time editing tape, splicing tape, cut it, splice it, stick it back together, tape loops, all that sort of thing. And they played music, but then they did improv, and then they played a lot of Fireside stuff on tape as well. Very fun, very creative. The old back gate, it's still open, but everything's really slowing down. As soon as I untie the knot, they're shutting the gate. Is that you, Bob? Oh, wait a minute. Am I drunk? I'm seeing 3 Bobs. Obviously I'm not drunk because I'm not drinking anymore. But I still see 3 Bobs. That's because there's 3 birds over there of the same species. I devised this plan to buy a little more time when I was coming across the bridge and saw the gate was still open. And here I am, gonna do a bush check. And the gate's closed. Bike's all the way down here. And it's sunny, therefore it's hot. Bush check anyway, and then get up there in the shade. Bush checking, bush checking, bush checking, checking for a bass, checking for a bass, checking the bush to catch a fish. Bush checking, bush checking, bush checking. All right. Done for that spot in the sun, actually. I want to get out of the spotlight, not in it. Yeah, you're right. Oh, bush checking in the shade before we put on the worm. Yeah, you're right. Can't resist doing a corner check on this bridge. It's not like I'm just sticking to the corners, but the corners are very productive because you can fish the grass line. And as you can see, as I've cruised around, a lot of the banks of this canal are still really overgrown. Even though they just got in the boat and sprayed grass killer on everything, it's not going to change much. So it's like certain spots and then the kayak for this canal. What we want to do is run that bait there. The thing about the Church of the Subgenius, the Hour of Slack, and all that Bob stuff. When you grow up listening to that, you learn a lot about slack, and then you end up being a fisherman, fishing a slack line, just because it got stuck in the back of your mind. You know, you hear me say the Church of Subgenius, and you're thinking, oh, is it a religion? No, it's a fake one. It's just a platform of creating content. When people wanted to do independent content back in the day, they didn't have a lot of platforms, and KNON was a platform for people. Like, you had to get your broadcasting license, which wasn't that difficult, and you could get your own radio show. It wasn't as easy as getting your own YouTube channel, but there were a lot of people in Dallas who had independent radio shows on that radio station. So yeah, I grew up listening to independent media. I grew up reading it in Texas because of independent newspapers, such as the Dallas Observer. It used to be really cool. And I grew up listening to it. And we had some TV stuff here and there where there were no commercials, like no corporations, except for the ooh, hello, Greta Turtleberg. What are you doing down there, Greta? Are you protesting, or are you... Oh, we had a perch bite. We had a perch bite on the search bait. Yeah, you're right. It was mostly music, right? But there was some other stuff on KNON. But a lot of music. So you had like different subgenres of subculture kind of stuff. But then you had representation from the community. I would say a lot of gospel music shows, but you had Texas music, independent Texas music, well represented on that channel. And I listened to that radio station a lot when I was growing up. That's how I heard Reverend Horton Heat and so much, you know. So it's kind of like what you could do today with YouTube and other things. Most people, when they're on TikTok and YouTube, they're not like keeping in contact with past culture or other independent culture that may be going on right now. They're just looking at stupid shit. But it's there. Are you there? I think it's just going to be a perch thing right here, because I just keep getting perch bites. Listening to that radio station on the daily, because they went 24/7, right? Every hour there was a different show. I ended up reading a lot of things I heard about on there. Like, I read a lot of beatnik authors when I was a kid, and then a lot of classics and some Victorian stuff because of listening to that station, and Channel 13 on TV. I found myself reading stuff like Dickens and Of Human Bondage. And then I moved to New York, and I just kept reading and listening to stuff and studying. I'm watching a school of bait fish coming towards here, and I just saw something disrupt ahead of me. So I got 2 more corners to go. Look at that. Doesn't that look like odd shapes of dirty plastic floating on the water? Some thick scum looking stuff. Thick skim. Alright, that's the end of this 4-corner check. American avocado chartreuse. Very, very light jig head as well. 164. What are you doing? Oh, no. This is gonna, he's gotta turn around now. Pretty sure. Oh man, when people do this, the back gate's not gonna open for you. I doubt it. Like if, oh no. I don't know what's up. But yeah, I've been in this scenario for whatever reason. Someone drives a big truck all the way up to the gate when it's shut. I don't know what they're thinking. They're thinking that if they have some candy to offer, that they're going to open the gate. But yeah, then they end up having to turn around. And an 18-wheeler turning around there. Phew. Some people do it good. Other people, a lot of people fail at this. They get stuck. And yeah. Also right now, with an 18-wheeler all of a sudden out of the blue, coming right up to a military gate, we are going to, we're going to a different spot for the moment. It's probably all good because a lot of people do that dumb mistake. They're driving an 18-wheeler there, and sometimes when the gates open, people think, oh, we can go through here, but not everybody can go through there. Anyway, the bike and me would be in the way when that guy's trying to get out of there. Well, I guess it's a good thing I came down here. I think I just avoided some interdimensional slippage. Bob's down here. You know, I noticed when that truck pulled up that the 3 Bobs over there took off. So maybe that was a sign for me to take off. Anyway, this spot's shadier, and yeah, I hate it when someone in a big truck does that, because just you're stuck there with them turning around and you got to get out of the way. It can take, I've seen people take an hour to try and turn a truck around there. Other people, they do it like it's nothing. A lot of those birds of that species, and then that white one, I don't know what kind of birds they are, but those brown ones with the long beaks are everywhere this morning. Probably gonna see Mexican squealers here, because there's a Mexican squealers that like this yard on the other side of that fence. They're always there year round. Let's put a fish in this video so the conspiracy doesn't win. Let's name this spot Literary Corner. That's the name of the spot in this video anyway, right? What's your favorite book? Got a book that you've read a lot? You liked it so much you read it several times? I would say that the book that I loved that much, loved it so much I read it 10 times, is Watershed Down. Forgive me, but I can't remember the name of the author. There's a bloke from the UK, right, as they would say. I've read a lot of authors from the UK. We're getting a bite finally. Probably a greenie, or as they say here, a Texas blue, Rio Grande cichlid. Something small just hitting my worm right there. Watershed Down is about the rabbits. I found that book, I think, in the garbage in New York when I lived there in the 90s. And I read it a few times back to back. And then I just started I put it down and I just started getting at it again. Like I started Bleak House, and I got bored with Bleak House, and I read Watershed Down again, and then before I knew it, I had it read 10 times. I did eventually read Bleak House. I've only read that once, probably one of my favorite Dickens books, but I only read it once, and I took my time. I've read Of Human Bondage maybe twice, I think twice. I've read the Silmarillion once, but the trilogy 3 times, I believe I've read that. Tolkien. And it's just numerous authors. Oh, we had a bite. Numerous authors that I've only read once, such as like Mark Twain. Never reread any Mark Twain. Quite a few beatnik writers. Only read once, but multiple books, except for oh, what's his name? Oh, I even met him and hung out with him several times too. He was more of a poet, but did write a book. Ah, something right there toying with me. New York guy. What the heck is his name? Oh, oh, nope. He was friends with Jack Kerouac. On the Road with Jack Kerouac. And he was friends with oh no, he took my bait. He was friends with William Burroughs. They were supposed to be really, really close for a while. And he lived in the green room in the Hotel Chelsea, when Linda Twigg was running it. That was like a gambling room, right? She rented this room long term, but she didn't live in it. He lived in it. She had blackjack tables and I think a roulette table in there. Well, I'd been in there. That's where I met. Oh, I'm gonna like, just the name's just gonna come to me. Herbert Huncke. That's his name. I was about to look it up and I didn't have to. It just came to me. I read his autobiography once, and I actually read it in his Brooklyn Heights apartment. That's where I found it. And I read Geek Love, a book called Geek Love, in his apartment. I met him at the hotel. I met Linda there too. I think it was the first time I lived in the hotel, and I was a foot messenger for people. I met him. He let me live in his apartment. Johnny Onassis was already living in there, but we shared it, me and this other dude. A little rundown apartment, but in Brooklyn Heights, which is a really good neighborhood. And I read those 2 books there. That's when I was 17, and I was living in New York on my own, pretty much, you know, a bit on my own, but I had a roommate for the last bit of it. So I was 17, and in Texas I was an adult, but in New York I was not. So it was difficult to find work. I had to lie about my age. And like I said before, I went to Brooklyn Heights when I was 17. I was doing work as a foot messenger. But when I got into Brooklyn Heights, and I needed a different job, so I ended up getting a cashier job, and you know, I ended up working at a grocery store in the neighborhood, and I had to lie about my age, but it worked. And I ran the cash register for a bit, and I did some stocking. I didn't like that cashier job because you had to remember all the product codes and put them in manually at the register. It was before scanning, right? Before barcodes were on everything. It was funny, like back in Texas, there were barcodes on everything and they were scanning, but at this grocery store it was like they were 10 years behind. Making me feel old talking about that job. No barcodes. You could still get a can of tuna for less than 50 cents. Yep. And it was just the 90s. Gotcha. Oh, yeah. I think there's other things there. But yeah, that's what people like to call a Texas blue. It's actually a Rio Grande cichlid. They get bluer than this as they get older. Nice bit of turquoise on the gill plate there. I wanted to do this session in Duluth, Minnesota this morning. Travel time was a problem though. Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah, you're right. That's what's up when it gets this hot. Thoughts of Duluth start going through my mind. I lived there for a few months. It's a nice place. Woo! Yeah, you're right. Oh my goodness. I could dip. I could take a dip in Lake Superior right now. My goodness, I think I'll go pour my own Lake Superior, a cold bath, and dip in that. Yeah, it's warm already. This is a super long one fish video. Really, it's just like, hey, thanks for hanging out and fishing with an old stoner. Yeah, you're right. Just enjoying my time as it passes, getting some fishing in. And I don't want a heat stroke as well. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go say hello to my friends up at the tackle shop, B&B. I'm gonna hit the can. I'm gonna hit the head up there. But I'm gonna say, hey, thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel. And yeah, you're right. I will see you next time. Yep.